Tim, why is the Christian religion correct, but others wrong? Because other religions are very similar. And then secondary question, also, if science and religion are contradicting, there can only be one, so which is right? There, deal with that.
That's really interesting. So the author of this question is essentially seeing that you've got a bunch of faith systems, which are all basically the same thing, kind of squint at them, they're all the same. And then science, which is kind of this empirical pursuit of knowledge, and that's different than these. And I would actually do this a little bit differently. I would say that I would take Christianity and say it has enormous consonance and enormous consistency within the scientific world, because the God who made the world and everything in it is the God of Christianity. Those are actually far more similar, and that's different from what a lot of the other world religions say. So I would kind of divide the pie a little bit differently. But take the first question: are all religions basically the same? Or are they all very similar? In some regards, yes. Okay. In some regard, most religions are going to say kindness is better than cruelty, honesty is better than deception. And when it comes to like an ethical code, there's going to be consistency across those. That's true. But when it comes to the absolute central questions, the different major faiths in the world are radically different. Judaism, Islam, and Christianity are all monotheistic. They say there is one God, and He is distinct from the creation. The Creator and creation are distinct. So we'll set those aside, that triplet for the moment. All the other religions either say that there are many gods, i.e. Hinduism, there is no God, Buddhism, and then other things that we kind of label as religions, like say Confucianism isn't really a religion per se, it's more of a philosophy. But whether there's one God or many gods or no gods, those are not peripheral issues. Those are very, very big deals. So I would say to say they're all basically the same really doesn't. The only way you can make them the same is if you kind of determine for yourself, well, this is important, this isn't important, and then kind of smash together the things that you don't think are important. But that's really not fair. That doesn't do justice to a Buddhist. To tell a Buddhist that, hey, your faith's the same as Christianity, say, well, it's not. It's radically different. And so out of respect to the religions of the world, I think we should really let them say what they're saying. Okay? Then you look at Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. You say, okay, well, they're all monotheistic. They're all the same. But they're not. I mean, my goodness, if you look at them, the way that a Muslim describes what God is like and the way that, say, Christians describe what God is like is altogether different. They would say there is one God, but the character, the attributes of those two supposedly same deities are radically different. What Christians might extol most of all in God the Father of Jesus is His mercy and His condescension to commune with sinners. Like, that's what we love about Him, because that's us. To a Muslim, that is really incredibly, that is to take him off his high and exalted place and to really just drag him into the mud as if he would, kind of commune with the likes of us. They would take great issue with that. So there really are very significant differences, even just about this one question, what is God like? I would try to say is a central question. Okay? So the differences are not the same. Your question, though, is how do we know that Christianity is true, or is the correct religion? I would say ultimately because it actually conforms it's accurate, it's real. The reason it's true, the reason anything is true, is because what it says about reality matches reality. Okay, so think about it like this. So reality is what is. It's just there. It's just sitting there, being there. There's reality. And when you have truth, you have the opportunity for truth when somebody says something about it. So if this was all that there existed in the universe, this would just be there. Right? There it is. There is no truth. It's just right there. Okay? Now, say something about this. Go ahead. Anything you want. Say anything about it.
It's blue.
Okay. So now we've got a statement about this, and you've got a statement about this, and if we agree that red is like, this particular wavelength of light, blah, 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 and blues and everything, then we'll say false, true. Your statement reflects reality. Yours sadly does not. Right? So I believe that Christianity is the faith to follow because it accurately describes reality. Not just in the astonishing fact of the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ, that He was dead, cold, dead, and came back to life. That should get your attention. And so that there you go back and say, okay, how do we know the resurrection really happened? We could look at that. But beyond that, beyond all of that, in my life, on a daily basis, what Christianity claims to be true about the nature of man conforms to what I know to be true about the nature of me. It accurately describes what it's like to be me. When it talks about our desperate need for forgiveness, check. When it talks about our desire to love and be loved, and yet our just miserable inability to do that, check. We could go down this list of what it describes about life matches the experience throughout every age, every generation. And so, both because of the resurrection of Jesus Christ and because of the way he describes life, I'm going to say it's accurate. It speaks about reality in terms of truth, and therefore, I want to follow.
Yeah, just to add one thing to that. Great job, Tim. Religion, whether it's Islam, Hinduism, and we even put Buddhism into this category, as I understand it, is man's pursuit of God. Okay, there is a God out there, Allah, the millions of Hindu gods, and then for Buddhism, nirvana, pursuit of nirvana. It's all about man, humanity, working as hard as he or she possibly can to follow the 5 pillars, whether it's in Islam or the Eightfold Path to Nirvana. You know, basically it's man buckling up and saying, okay, I got to do the job, I got to make myself worthy, I got to make myself acceptable, I got to do the right rituals, I got to do the right actions, and then finally this God, Allah, or the millions of God of Hinduism, or Nirvana, will be mine. I'll have a relationship with Allah because he will accept me because I've worked so hard and done all the right things and put myself in a position where he is now pleased with me or accepting of me. That's a hard road, but that's what religion is. It's man's pursuit of God. But I understand Christianity to be radically different. Radically different. Because Christianity makes it very clear, you can't do it. You are a sinful rebel, sinful to the core. You know, all of our actions are tainted by our sin. And so instead, Christianity is God, the holy God of the universe, this God we've been talking about tonight, went on an all-out pursuit for you. See, it was God pursuing man. Not man pursuing God, that's religion. Man chasing God is religion. Christianity is God chasing humanity, saying, I love you, I care about you, I want to be in relationship with you, I want to pour my grace and mercy and love into your life. You are unworthy of it, you can't receive, you can't earn it, so I'm going to come after you. And that's what Jesus Christ's birth is all about. God breaking into history in an all-out rescue mission, all-out pursuit of the human race, to love us, to embrace us, to make it possible for us to have new life, forgiveness, and a relationship with him. So to me, that's the biggest difference between Christianity and every other religion out there. Because as I understand it, every other religion is me somehow making myself worthy to be accepted by this God, whoever it might be, with all my efforts. Christianity is God coming after me and grabbing hold of me and saying, I love you, you're my child. And my microphone is fading out. So that's what it is. It's God's pursuit of us as opposed to our pursuit of God. Okay. Okay.
Purgatory. No. All right, this is very similar, and I'm just going to throw it out real quick and tell you a biblical story to describe this. I think actually Chris and Tim already answered this in the heart of the last question, but this is another one we had in this category. What is the difference between Christianity and all of the other deities? Between the God of Christianity and all the other deities. And I would use one word: grace. Grace is a thread that you can pull from the very beginning of the Bible the whole way through the biblical story, Old and New Testament, and it's centered on the person of one man. It's centered on Jesus Christ. At the very beginning of the Bible, right after Adam and Eve have fallen in Genesis chapter 3, they're standing there, they're embarrassed, they're shamed, they know they've done wrong, they violated one simple rule that God gave them, and they've had this back and forth where Adam's trying to blame Eve and trying to blame the snake, and all of this is going on, and God steps up and he begins to talk to each person that was involved in that event. And as he turns in the presence of Adam and Eve, he looks at Satan and he says, in essence, she's going to have a kid and he's going to kill you. You're going to hurt him. You're going to bite his heel, but he's going to crush your head. at that point, the story begins to unwind of Adam and Eve and their descendants looking for a hero. Guys, I think there's a reason we like Marvel comics. I love Marvel movies. I mean, aren't they cool? We all want a hero. We were made for a hero. God is our hero. And God said, I will fix it. And he forecasted right there that he would come and he would fix the sin of man. And through the entire Bible, that story is replayed and retold over and over, that God would do what we could not do, that he would give us grace. And like Chris said so well, every other religion is about us appeasing God, whoever that God may be. Every other religion is about the work that we do, but only Christianity is truly understanding of God's free grace to us. Paul put it this way, not by works of righteousness which I have done, but according to his mercy he saved us. It's free. It's done for us. Do you guys have any questions about other religions versus Christianity you'd like to throw out to our fellas up here? I think we had a good opportunity to cover that. If you guys do have something later on, feel free to throw it out. I'm gonna hit a pause button for our question time.